Digital media has created new touch points between companies and their customers. In this next panel, Managing Customer Service Online, ArabNet will investigate how companies are expanding their customer service efforts to digital channels, including chat, social media, online videos, and the impact that this is having on their internal organization and processes. Mr. Patrick Attallah, again, will be moderating this next panel. So let's join him in welcoming his panelists.
Okay, you'll have to bear with me again, trying to moderate a different totally subject, probably a bit more fun than government. I didn't say that government is not fun, but it's kind of like a bit more difficult to go and handle. Anyhow, so before introducing the speakers, as you know, in the past, consumer trusted experts. We all kind of like looked at cinema, and so in fact those experts, which in fact was 60, 65 years old, saying whether the film is good or not. And now it's consumer that are questioning experts, and they trust more and more other consumer, other peers. How many times have you posted a status update about a negative experience that you had with a particular brand, being a restaurant, being your bank, being an airline? How many of you have #fail in their tweets? None? No one had bad experience? No one has kind of like, spoke out on social media? Just 3, 4? Is that true? No. So, we are all influenced by those negative social conversation that is happening on social media, being Facebook, being Twitter. In fact, 88% of online users say that they are less likely to purchase from a brand with an unattended complaint on their social stream. Digital media, with all the different touch points that we have today, has opened a new way, a new forum to complain, for customer to go and say about their frustrations, about their customer satisfaction and the customer experience. 23% of brands on Facebook provide customer service for their fans, and less than 30% of complaints tweeted get a response. So this session today, and we have today with me Isaac, which in fact is the marketing manager for Selim, Ramia & Co., which is Grand Cinema, if I'm not wrong. We have Rabih, marketing and communication manager for Malik's group, and we have Roy Abu Absi, website specialist, Alpha Telecommunication. So the session today will be basically to try to understand how brands in Lebanon are extending their customer service efforts to digital channels, and how this has impacted their internal organization and their processes. So let me start with, can you introduce each one of you, your company, and how you are doing customer service today over social media or over online in general? Do you want to start?
Sure. Basically, at Alpha, actually today marks our 3rd anniversary online in terms of customer care. We launched 3 years ago our online customer care during ArabNet, so it's pretty exciting to be here talking about it. Currently,
congratulations.
Thank you. Currently, we're present. Our subscribers can reach us through Facebook, Twitter, email, a mobile app, USSD, several platforms, other platforms, with Facebook being the most platform where we receive interactions on 74% versus 26% on Twitter. So
Facebook is #1 platform for complaints.
Yes, in terms of interaction, engagement.
Engagement, okay, the positive side. Okay.
At Malik's, we usually focus on Facebook and on our website. We tried our best to have a very simple, straight-to-the-point website where you have all the information. So whenever you're on a website, you just find the contact us, and then you find all the locations and the information. It's the best way to have a very clear vision where a customer, whenever he's on a website, he will find the contact us, he will find the number, the email, the different departments' emails and numbers, the different locations. Especially if you go on any website and you don't find a number, you just find the contact us and an email, you'll feel a bit depressed, like I just need to call someone and get an answer to my inquiry. So we focus on a website, we focus on our Facebook We try to be very transparent in a way where we take any complaint, negative or positive, and as I said before in the previous panel, they turn on the negative complaint into a positive one, which it always happens. Whenever there is any negative complaint, it will be a positive, we get a positive feedback out of it.
We're going to go and come back, in fact, to the actual mechanism, in fact, how you're doing it and the different challenges. Do you want to go and tell us about Grand Cinema?
Yes, sure. At the Grand Cinemas, we also run all the customer complaints on the social media, but as they all said, it is usually mainly on Facebook, because all the people are now on Facebook channel, so mainly there. But usually the channels are all the social media platforms and the mobile app, online and through the phone, on the phone calls at the box office.
Okay, let me ask you. You have three different type of industry. You have here a mobile application, a mobile operator, and we have here, a retail, and you have a Grand Cinema. What are, in fact, are the main complaints that you are receive, on a daily basis? How many complaints do you receive, for Alpha Telecom, which in fact should be probably a lot, or not?
Not really, actually. Specifically when we have like
all your customers are satisfied, which is good.
It is great. On a monthly basis, we receive like an average of 3,000 emails, and versus 5,000 interactions on Facebook. So not all are negative, yet not all are positive as well. Mainly they are interaction and our activations.
But what in fact are the main complaints that you receive, for example, on Facebook?
Network coverage.
Network coverage, yeah.
Yes.
Okay. And for yourself, what is in fact the main complaints in your retail stores?
The main complaints basically if they're late or they get something different from whatever they requested, but it happens like we get like 2 or 3 complaints a week, which sometimes it helps us to fix the service in one of any branch, especially whoever visit a branch, they put the name of the branch and whoever work with him, so we know exactly what happened, what was the problem, and we try to solve it the same day.
Okay. And at Grand Cinema, what is in fact the main complaints?
Well,
queuing?
It is usually,
no popcorn?
It's queuing, yeah, usually, but the most important ones are that the movie, why they are censored, which is not from the cinema, it's from the ministry usually.
From the?
But from the ministry.
Okay.
But we try just to handle it.
So the films are censored, so they're asking you why, in fact,
and
you're
why
not.
18 plus, and why the rate is very high, and.
Okay.
That's it.
All right.
Movie, I guess that was the 50 Shades of Grey.
Yeah, exactly.
Cut down like around 20
That's the
minutes.
example.
Okay. So which channel do you think? A digital channel you think is the best to go and deal with customer service complaints? Do you have chosen one, or you're using in fact all the different digital channel that comes? That means you answer on all channels, being Facebook, being Twitter, being email, all the different digital touch points, or have you put together a strategy where you can kind of like channel directly into one channel? Example, Société Générale, for example, in France have created a specific Twitter account where in fact they have an engagement to respond within 2 hours, Monday to Friday, 9 to 6. Are you thinking of going towards that? And let's start with, in fact, the channels that you're using to start with. And do you have a strategy to use all the channels or one?
Basically, at Alpha, we're using all channels, a mix of all channels. With the Internet of Things today and people being connected online on different platforms, different devices, you have to follow your subscribers wherever they go. So basically, our strategy is to approach and to have a holistic approach to customer care rather than focus on one channel. Sometimes a complaint or a comment is received on Twitter. It gets channeled to email and finalized over a phone. So a holistic approach is...
Okay, so you're using, in fact, all the different digital touch points and answer. Do you have any specific response time that you kind of like deliver to your team?
Yes, we do actually. We're online 24/7, actually.
Okay.
Alpha, so,
but this is, in fact, you are available 24/7, but you respond within kind of like a specific time frame?
We respond for minor comments or inquiries. Average response time is 5 minutes.
Okay.
So when it comes to technical issues, it's 20 minutes.
Okay.
I believe you have to be everywhere. You have to follow your customer and not vice versa, where they follow you. You have to be on all social media. You have to be on website, mobile application, offline and even offline as well. Usually the traditional way offline, you have like a box of complaint where you write something and you drop it in the box, or you have like a certain poster where you have for complaint contact this number or email us. So you have to be all over the channels, especially now, as Roy said, with the tablets, the smartphones, the Google glasses, the smartwatch. So anyone have a tablet and a phone and a third. So you have to be everywhere. But the main strategy is to be consistent. You can't like have like 4 different people speaking 4 different language.
So this is one of the actual challenge in terms of having many touch points, is how do you handle this consistency? How do you make sure that the customer satisfaction is almost the same or at least similar on all these different channels?
Okay. To have a very good consistency, you have to have like 2 or 1 person. You need to have a good training. You have to have like a crisis management where you have where you study what kind of complaint you might receive and have like a quick answer for it. Basically training and training and training. Train your call center, train your people behind the community manager who handles the social media.
So what type of training you deliver to your team, just for sake of curiosity?
What kind of training? The way they should answer. Once they receive a complaint, they should go through the profile of the person to see his background, especially if, let's say, the person is speaking Arabic, you have to speak in Arabic with him. You can't like speak in English and give him like big words where he should Google them and try to understand what you guys are trying to reply back to me. Let's say if someone is speaking like mixed Arabic and English, you have to speak his language. It's always good to speak the language of the customer so he will feel in home.
Okay. So do you kind of like follow a specific tone of voice? Because I think that Alpha has had some kind of like very positive buzz lately with your customer service, because you have followed a specific tone of voice and a specific way of dealing with customer service. Can you tell us about a bit the story, the buzz, and why you have chosen
actually,
this way?
Lately, I'm sure most of you like here heard about the trolling online. They've been hitting us with some trolls online. So at Alpha, our approach is like to keep it fun, but yet responsible at the same time. So our reply went viral to some of the trolls, leading to Twitter using it as a case study for great engagement online during their Dubai Links talk. So basically, we try to keep it fun, but at the same time, very responsible in how we respond. So it might, it won't backfire on us.
Okay. Grand Cinema.
Yes.
What, in fact, the main complaints and how you handle them today?
Well,
you talk about Q.
The key and the code of all the conducts is that the customer is always right, or he is always king.
The
Just
customer
like
is
Lebanese,
king.
he is always king. It means we have a code that we always have to remain always polite and always calm, and we cannot respond in the same way that he is speaking. So it's just a code, and it is working perfectly, because we use it in all the channels, whether on the phone, at the box office, or behind the desks, in the emails. We basically have kind of a system in place where they can send an email complaint, and if the complaint is about the HR, for instance, the HR manager, he replies. If it's about marketing, the marketing manager, he replies. If it's about if it's about I don't know anything, exactly. If it's about the operation manager, he replies, and we signs. It's the customer service team. So whoever replies, he signs customer service team, and this is the code that we all follow. We have to remain calm, and we cannot act likewise.
Okay, so you're talking about the system. Is this customer relationship management, a CRM that you use internally,
yes,
or it's
yes, exactly. It's
okay. How do you deal with the fact that the social profile, I can have a Twitter account handle called Patrick1234, and in your database is Patrick Attallah. How do you kind of like match those two between the social profile and your database? Isn't that a challenge for you to be able to go and handle that client?
I didn't get the question well. I didn't get the question well, I'm afraid.
For example, if you have me in your database as Patrick Attallah,
okay,
and my Twitter handle is Patrick1234,
Okay.
And I'm complaining about, either your retail store or I'm complaining about
yeah, we match
Alpha,
it.
etc. So
Yeah, exactly.
how do you kind of like,
It's on the system.
match this?
We match the email and we match the if he has any profile or any picture, we just match it. We can match it, we can know. And as you said, Rabia, we try to check on the background to know who he is. And if you know him well, usually we can
I guess it's all
easily handle
about
it.
a good data. When you have a good data and a good filtration of the data, you try to search for the person. Whenever he contacts you from a certain channel, you just save this channel and put it under his profile. And whenever you get any feedback from this person, you just know when was the last time he made a complaint, when was the last time he even purchased, especially if you have a loyalty program. You can track every customer whenever he bought something.
So you enter, in fact, the actual social profiles and therefore Twitter, Facebook, etc., into your database and therefore link them to the client.
This is the only way to recognize the person, because we do have like 100,000 of people on Facebook. We have around 8,000 followers on Twitter, and we have like 5,000 followers on Instagram. So you really can't know which is Patrick 112 or which is Patrick 69 or
it's
whatever.
1, 2, 3, 4, but that's okay.
Yeah. So you need to have
69,
a good.
did you say?
Sorry.
So at Alpha, actually, we have a CRM tool, and we're using it as a social CRM tool as well. So it's pretty empowering to us. So data gets collected from different touch points and different sources online. So we get the info, right info actually related to the profile of the,
okay.
Of the person.
Let me ask you a question regarding, in fact, touch points, which in fact we didn't talk about, is WhatsApp. Do you think that customer service can be done through WhatsApp?
Yes. We started.
Do you do it through WhatsApp?
Yeah. We started recently. Like every branch manager has a cell phone, a smartphone, with strictly only WhatsApp. It was Alpha lines, I believe. So we do have.
Touch.
Yeah. No offense. So just he can use the WhatsApp and he can share it with his customers. Nowadays, especially in Lebanon, like most of the business, it's now through WhatsApp. Because you're busy all day long through emails, phone calls, interruption in your office. So the fastest way is using WhatsApp, where you can follow up on any job, take a picture. Like if you have, let's say, I'm asking for a certain cover, like a Kindle Paperwhite cover, I just take a picture for it from Amazon and send it to the branch which I need it from it, and I'll see if it's available there. So WhatsApp is really it's a good thing, especially when it comes to as well the marketing. When you have any campaign, we send like the whole merchandising, like we ask the branch to send us through WhatsApp. So WhatsApp is really helping us making things quick, especially emails. Sometimes emails like it takes forever to receive an email or. So WhatsApp is really helping us making.
Who thinks in the audience that WhatsApp is good for customer service? Who thinks it's not because it's intimacy? Okay.
I do.
All right. So this is kind of like an answer. And do you think that, for using WhatsApp, you should have opt-in, opt-out basis to be able to go?
Definitely.
Do you follow that at Alpha?
We don't actually. We're not currently on WhatsApp.
Okay.
And we don't provide customer service support over WhatsApp. But if we had to, and our subscriber base is going to WhatsApp, we have to follow them. But still, it has to be regulated.
Okay.
I believe it's all about the industry of the business. If you're in retail and if you're in touch with the customer on day to day, so and the customer really asks if you have a WhatsApp, I need to send you this picture, or I need to print something like this, or I need something like that. You have to reply back to the customers, and you have to put the service online. For example, Alpha or Cinema, they might not need the WhatsApp. So it's all about the industry.
All right. Let me ask you a question regarding, in fact, who handles the social media customer service online within your organization? Is it marketing communication? Is it customer service? Is it IT? Which department, in fact, has a governance and who, in fact, is it responsible for that within your organization?
Alpha. So basically, the entry point is our customer care agents. However, when inquiries...
So let me just, to understand, that means the customer care have access to all your social media,
yes,
and they're the one who, in fact, are doing the first filtering?
Yes. They do, and they even reply to people. However, when it all depends on the type of request or inquiry. So if it's related to communication or product and services, it gets channeled to communication department and marketing. If it's technical, it gets channeled internally to technical, and we have personnel dedicated to provide assistance as well 24/7. So basically, customer care is entry point.
So the entry point is customer care. Interesting.
Mainly, our community manager handled the customer service. The marketing department within the community, the manager community, we handle. It's like a Dropbox. We just get the complaint and we reflect it to the operation or the customer service department, who usually handle it directly. Call the customer, check exactly what happened, and take it from there. And we follow up through the social media, and if they call him back and if everything is fine.
Isaac?
For the social media, it's under the marketing. We have in-house people who, as you said, Rabih, we just spread it to the departments, to the concerned people, and he replies back. They just reply back to him what to reply. So it's the way it goes. And on the phone, we have at the cinemas, on the box office, all the clerks are very well trained to talk to anyone and to handle all kinds of complaints. So
okay.
this is it.
I believe the best thing is just not to take the complaint, is to reply fast. If I take the complaint and send it to the certain department, the certain department should reply fast, should call right now. Because the customer complained, when he put a complaint on Facebook, he needs a request like in a couple of minutes, or else he would call you or send you an email if he can wait for it. So you really need to reply fast to a customer whenever he put a complaint on social media, because he really thinks like there is someone there 24/7. If he's dreaming about you and he wrote something, that you should be there in his dreams to reply back to him.
I mean, customers have set the bar pretty high when it comes to their satisfaction. So they want what they want when they want it, even if it's like 3 a.m. in the morning. As an operator, you have to provide that assistance to them. Yeah. So we had to modify our KPIs so that they cater for our subscribers' needs.
So before getting to the actual KPIs, just, it's not the same dimension in terms of companies that you have here, but how many kind of like people are handling, social media and online customer service as operators at your organization?
5 people currently.
5 people.
Yes.
And the whole social media team is of how big?
Social media team is 2.
2 people plus 5?
Yes.
Okay. And at your organization?
2.
2 people?
Yep.
And that including yourself or not including yourself?
Yes.
Including yourself?
Myself and the community manager, which is somewhere here.
Okay. I know her.
Yeah.
2 people.
2 people. Okay. Now,
so all it takes is 2 people to handle.
Okay. Now, you talked about, in fact, handling those complaints. And earlier on in my previous panel, I was talking about the moderation and the transparency and the challenge of accepting, in fact, the criticism of consumers. And I think that in each one of you, probably Alpha, probably more than eventually into a retail store, you have, in fact, a high number of criticism because either the actual kind of like, network is not working, or I got kind of like, too many minutes, being taken, or what have you. So how do you handle those criticism over social media, and how you have trained your team to go and not take it personally?
Basically, upon coming up or drafting our customer care strategy, we had to manage our KPIs, either on response time or how to respond to people, and the way we respond to people. So when it comes to negative comments online, we try, as I said earlier, we try to be fun, but yet responsible at the same time. That had a direct impact actually on the sentiments we had, but the approach we're having online.
Have you measured, in fact, the customer sentiment, or kind of like negative versus positive?
Yes, we do. There are tools available actually that help you measure customer sentiment.
If you measure, for example, last year's versus this year, how that has shifted positively?
35% positive towards the positive sentiments.
Okay, so in fact from negative. Last year, how many negative you had?
We had like around 45, I guess.
45 from,
yes, yes.
Okay.
We had lots of network issues, so. Yeah.
So from 45, you move now to 20%, roughly?
Increase in positive sentiment. So now positive sentiment is like around 55%.
Okay,
yes.
All right. Good. And for you?
I believe to reply back for a negative feedback, you need to have like 3 or 4 things. First, you need to be fast, reply to complaint fast, as I said previously. You have to be so transparent, reply with a big smile. Eventually, while you're typing, you have to have a big smile while you're typing, not like being nice, but your face expression, you have to be really calm. You have to think about what you're typing, like 3 times, then send, then reply back. Because a negative complaint should have a positive answer. You shouldn't really try to make it up. If you receive a very bad compliment about a certain service or a certain product, you shouldn't make up reasons. Never make up reasons, just as Isaac said, the customer is a king, so the customer is always right. And if the customer doesn't really spend money at your business, you will not get a salary. So you need to pamper your customers all year long. So fast, transparent, and accept negativity.
Okay. Zach?
Well, we usually believe in the phone calls, in the verbal talks, because usually people, they like to integrate with you. So for the big complaints, we just pick up the phone and we give them a call. And hello, sir, how you doing? We're sorry, we apologize. This is how really it really should be, because you have to break the ice with the customers, because it's just for him. There is a guy behind the screen and he is typing. He doesn't know you, and this create kind of a wall. So we just give them a call and we build a bridge. And then we can know if he was really right, or he was wrong, or he was lying, or he was bluffing, or if he's a loyal customer. So we can just know it from the phone call. We believe a lot in the phone calls, and this is why we always transfer all the complaints to the box office, and we just handle it on the phone.
Okay. Earlier on, you talked about having a crisis management process or procedure in place. Can you tell us more about each one of you? If you have a crisis management process, that means an escalation. That means if, for example, there is kind of like a major crisis online, first that you have it. I know that Alpha and Touch had it a few whiles, 2 years ago, if I'm not wrong, with Allofail. But how do you handle this actual crisis? And you have, in fact, a process in place, and is it documented? Start with you, yeah?
Okay. Basically, the cure for a crisis management is to handle it straightforward, take it in a positive way, and try not to build haters over haters, and try, as I said, not to put reasons for whatever bad thing you've done. So, and try to solve it very quickly. Try to have the number of the client, call him directly and see what happened, and try to solve it. And we usually solve it by even repeat the service, or give him back another product, or take the product back and give him another one for free, or give him like a sorry voucher. We have like sorry vouchers, like it's like a gift for the bad service which we did. This is how we.
So you buy a customer? No, I'm just saying.
We don't buy the customer. It's like.
No, you just try to.
It's usually when someone gives me a bad feedback, I should thank him, because he really bothered himself and wasted his time to tell me what's bad in my team or in my service, which really no one will really tell you about it. This is the best customer of all time, when you tell the negative feedback, because this is how you really fix your issues and your problems, and this is how you make to give a better service in the future.
Okay.
If everything is okay, how can you find what's the problem in your service or in your business?
Exactly.
You need
could
negative
just leave.
complaint.
He could just leave, but
Yes.
he bothered, and he has talked to me, so I need to thank him.
Okay, but I'm asking whether you have a crisis management process in place, because, okay, your organization are probably smaller, but in a certain type of industry like banking, like airlines, what have you, and you have sometimes as well management who in fact are on Facebook and on Twitter and are looking at those complaints and comes in fact to your team and says, what's happening, why they are complaining, and therefore they sometimes make a crisis where there's no crisis. So you need to put together a crisis to be able to go and communicate or to be able to go and handle it. Do you have, in fact, crisis management process?
Yes, we do have a crisis management process. It's actually segmented into three segments, blue, orange, and red.
Okay.
So blue
This
is like a small
Typical
issue.
telecom.
Exactly. So, and red, it's like a major issue. And here, all channels have to come together to deliver the right message to the people, and try to contain it. So we use actually in code red, we use like PR and TV and press, even accompanied with online as well.
Okay.
So basically, yes, we do have a crisis management process.
How many often you go to red?
We never got to red.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Good for you.
Great. Okay. Earlier on, you talked about customer satisfaction and KPIs. Do you measure that on a monthly basis? I mean, Alpha just told us earlier on that they kind of like, measure the sentiment analysis. What other KPIs do you use to measure your customer satisfaction and to measure, in fact, those complaints are decreasing or increasing? Can you shed a light on this?
We do have a loyalty program, which has been in the market since 2006, called the M card. I believe so many people have an M card from Malik's. Usually the M card have all the data, and like we usually know like exactly how much he bought from this branch and when, and what are the different items he bought. So what we do is just select hundreds of numbers, and we have someone who call them one by one and see if everything was all right, how was the service with you, and just check if everything was fine. And as I said, we have to thank someone who complained, because there's always something bad happen during the service. If it was fast, or the attitude, or he waited a lot, or he couldn't find a parking, or whatever was the complaint. And you take all these data and you try to solve them out and to make a better service. So this is how we
do your management, for example, ask you for a specific report at the end of each month with specific kind of like matrix and KPIs?
Yes.
And measuring, in fact, those customer satisfaction? Yes.
All the information that we really receive from the customers, we put them in a report. Every customer, what happened in this branch, what is the problem in which department, and we try to report it back to the operation department, who usually take care of the customer service, and from there he will take care of it.
Okay, and you have in fact a feedback loop back to each of these actual branches in terms of the actual, to the actual store manager?
We have a weekly meeting with one of the branch manager of each branch, and we have as well a weekly meeting with all the branch managers. Every Saturday we invite all the branch managers, and during this meeting we talk about the complaints and how to handle them and how to avoid such attitude and how to train their employee, because basically most of the issues come from the new employees coming in, which is at the beginning you need really to train them much, and that's it, I guess.
Okay. And branch managers find it kind of like difficult to accept the actual criticism that's coming from this report?
Of course. Okay. Branch, you have to really know where the branch managers come from, what's their background. They're not really executives or seniors, managers. I believe Isaac do know what kind of people you really deal with. So branch managers are people who started from, let's say in the Grand Cinema, who started from filling up popcorns, then started on the cashier, then
from
become managers. Same as in Malik's, they started to do photocopying, then handling a certain department, a certain section, then become a branch manager after like 10, 15 years or 9, 8 years. So they don't really accept it, but at the end of the day, you have to accept it. We don't have a choice. It's a must to accept the complaint as it is.
Okay. We have 5 more minutes, if I'm not wrong. So let me ask you 2 questions, and I'll leave the floor to the actual public. The first one is, they think, or they say, or they believe, and it happens apparently in Europe and the US, that doing customer service via social media and online reduce the cost from traditional call center type of customer service. Do you think that this is true or wrong? Is it happening at your company?
It doesn't.
Exactly.
It's just the same cost.
Same cost.
You need somebody behind the phone, and you also need somebody behind the desk. So it's just the same.
Okay, but in fact, the person behind the phone has to be in the office, behind the desk, and be at home.
He cannot be at home. He has to be involved. He has to be in the company. He has to know all the modus operandi of the company, so he can just handle the complaints. So
And it might be eventually
he
more
has to be
costly
in-house.
because-
He has to be with us. He has to be trained every now and then. So
And he has
it's the
to
same.
handle many other channels.
Yes.
Okay.
So it's just the same cost.
Rabih?
I don't agree with Isaac. I do believe it will cut costs a lot, especially if you really have a website service where you have a different like FAQs, question and answers, where it really give you answers for whatever you need to know. So it really helps you to, if you go online and you will find your information, you don't have to call, you don't have to email.
Don't you think that there's as well the peer-to-peer? That means people are asking questions, and if you have a large community of fans or followers, those will be the advocates and what have you will answer instead of you. Like, for
Exactly.
example, how I'm going to go and recharge my prepaid card on Alpha.
We
You'll
do.
have, in fact, probably 100 people who will go and
course.
kind of like tell you how to
We
go and do
we
it.
do face these things, and we are so happy whenever we receive, we see customers, actually, like loyal fans on social media, reply to any question by any fan, like where I can find this, or where this branch is located, or what is the opening hours of this branch. You see actually like normal fans, which we don't really buy them or we don't really give them gifts. They just reply to and help us with the answers.
Roy?
Actually, as a telecom operator, it's still too early for us to measure if it's going to decrease costs or not. Basically, there are several factors that affect this measure. In Lebanon, it's within our culture that people or subscribers prefer to call and talk to an agent in order to solve an issue rather than commenting on it online. However, with the increase in smartphone penetration and lower data bundle rates, we might reach a stage in the near future that we might have an equal number of interactions happening online, and so this might decrease actually the cost.
Okay. Let's go to questions to the public. Any questions? There's one here, two there.
Hello, it's Elias Sarkis. My question to Isaac. You have mentioned that whenever you receive a concern or a complaint, you transfer to the concerned department and they will handle replying to customer complaints. Don't you think that letting people, non-digital people replying to customers' requests will affect the quality of the online support?
Well, you are right, but all the managers, they are very well trained to act on the digital platforms and to know how to answer, and they know the codes, so they can really handle it. But you're right, yes, if he's not trained, he might mess up.
Because we all know that all online support agents are well trained.
Very well trained,
There is
exactly.
a specific way to reply, so it
Exactly.
will not be different between
Yeah,
them. Yeah.
You're right in this, but we are all trained, all the managers, if you want to say it basically, they are very well trained to handle all the online complaints and to know how to act digitally. So,
Okay, thank you.
welcome.
Hello, this is Clara Asmar. I have two questions actually. The first one, to which point you think that customer service can respond to quality and coverage networks? It means in improving them. The second one, don't you think that going on the floor and making the graph analysis and the technical measurements should improve much better than responding faster to the users and the users?
I mean,
Can you repeat the first question?
First one?
please.
Yes, to which point customer service can improve the quality and the coverage of your networks?
It definitely does, actually. So
Yeah, I know, but to which point?
To which point? To the extreme, actually. What we're having, whenever we have a network coverage issue, or we're pretty transparent about it. We tell people, even if we have like maintenance in some sites, or we tell people on our Facebook and Twitter pages, that we have maintenance in these areas, so please take action. So, and that's pretty sums it all. Yeah, it can.
You had a second question. Second question was what again?
The second one was, in many cases, do you reply directly, or you think that you have to go on the floor and make technical measurements to improve the quality?
Both, actually. Both.
It
You do
depends.
both. You answer faster and then you go to improve.
Yes, and we inform technical people to go and make a site visit to inspect and to correct.
Okay, thank you.
It's always nice to know exactly the base of the complaint and see and try to do your research and your investigation about the complaint and find what happened, then reply back to the customer. Let's say if someone complained about a certain service, then I'll check the service. Hello, what happened with you? This customer is saying this and that, what happened? So you have to really know to have the whole data with you so you can reply back to the customer and solve the problem.
Last question.
So, hey, my name is Jad. What I'm interested in actually is the data. You said before that when somebody submits a support ticket, you actually link the data from the social network and from your database. What I want to know is how much data you actually have, who actually control, who has access to this data. I mean, this actually have some confidential data about customers and some personal data that could actually harm personal life or privacy. So that's my question.
This is kind of like a very vast subject, but basically is as far as you are complaining over social media and therefore you have in fact your Twitter handle, this is kind of like public information and they'll kind of like go ahead and take this information and put it in the same database. In Europe and elsewhere, you have in fact a specific organization that will look in terms of how and what information you put to the databases. I don't think that this organization exists in Lebanon or in the region in general.
Basically, what we deal with is public data. So we don't share any personal data online. As a telco operator, yes, we agree. We have some sensitive data that we cannot share. However, we tend to create our own private forms. So we channel people to fill these forms on private links. So these are not public. So that's basically our approach to it.
And if I may answer, just from experience with working with banks, banks in Lebanon, because of bank secrecy, whenever they're dealing with customer complaining over social media, only operators of the call center have access to this information, which in fact is your customer banking details, but not the actual social media team. So social media team are filtering, in fact, those complaints, sending it to the actual kind of like call center, and the call center is doing it. This is why I was interested in understanding that, for example, for their end, it's the customer care that in fact is receiving and dealing with the Twitter channel and Facebook channels and what have you. So you have these actual walls depending of the industry and depending of the regulations.
If I may?
Yeah.
Okay. For the database, it is one of the most valuable, of the most valuable asset in the company. So you have to rest assured that they will not share it with anyone, because this is something costly and it's just cash. The database is really cash. So and they always compete to get database. So they will not share it. They will keep it for them. It's something very it's a baby. They collect database and they keep it. It's baby. It's a treasure. They would never share it.
Okay, that panel comes to an end. Isaac, Rabih, and Roy, thanks a lot.
Thank you.
Thanks for your input, and thank you all for listening to us.
Thank you.
Have a good afternoon and good